Good morning. Welcome into Let's Bet It here on PicksWise and PicksWise.com. Let's Bet It is presented by Superbook Sports. I'm Mark Zinno. I'm Mark Zinno. Mark Zinno. Mark Zinno. Mark Zinno. Mark Zinno. I'm Mark Zinno, joined by Jared Smith. Go back and hit the rewind button. Remember Mark Stoops calling timeouts in a game where he was down 34-6, calling timeouts with 4 seconds left to score a touchdown that meant nothing. Kirby Smart remembers that. He won't forget it. He's going to punish the Wildcats in Lexington. I'll lay the 22.5.
These two teams, the first time they met, both of these games went under the total. Seattle has only scored one offensive touchdown in each of their two games against San Francisco this year. The 49ers have the number one defense in terms of total yards allowed, and number one defense giving up just 16 points per game, giving under 42.5 between San Francisco and Seattle.
There are 100 things in the world I would have rather have been than an Alabama football player this week working with Nick Saban. I would have rather been awake for a colonoscopy than been an Alabama football player this week. I feel like the world is on Syracuse. It's either because everybody likes Syracuse and they're a popular school, or I just know too many broadcasters who went to Syracuse and they're all big Orange fans, so I keep seeing them pumping Syracuse all over the place. That's coach speak for, I'm not going to tell you we're starting our backup, which is exactly what's happening. Bryce Young's not playing this week. Right. That's my guess. If he was playing, you'd come out and say it. That would make me want to take Georgia even more next week if they make them number 2. So now that he put that seed in my head, I'm kind of hoping, part of me is almost like, hey, if Tennessee blows out Kentucky and I don't cover this number today, like that's it. Like if they're not going to cover, I want them to win by 35 and Georgia to only win by a field goal this week.
But as you said, George, you got to give guys time to develop. And Vic Beasley proved to the world, and maybe he came back this year with a little bit of a chip on that injured shoulder of his and said, you know what, I'm going to be better than people expect me to be, and went out and led the league in sacks. I mean, that kind of thing is what makes teams go from good to great.
Well, listen, if there was ever a legitimate time to rush the field, that qualified as it. Top programming, college football, haven't beaten them in 15 years. I just didn't know that they took the goalpost to the river and actually put them in there. And then Tennessee had the gall to put up a GoFundMe account or whatever it was called to get the money back for it. Like, the school president's in the box smoking a cigar going, don't worry, we'll pay for it. We're good. Everything's going to be fine. Yeah. There is 100% proof that Jimbo Fisher did not cheat. Because if he did, this team would be better. Because you can't, these are all the steroid users who never hit home runs. It's like all you guys that the Larry Bigby's of the world and the FP Santangelos, you guys got all the juice in the world and you still couldn't get the ball out of the ballpark. So if Jimbo Fisher cheated, he stinks at cheating. Mississippi State hasn't scored a touchdown against Alabama in 4 years, David. This does not set up well for Mississippi State. Head coach Mike Leach and Will Rogers, the quarterback, they've never beaten Nick Saban. And by the way, Will Rogers, who might hold every SEC passing record when it's all said and done, has never thrown a touchdown pass against Alabama.
When you go low, I go high.
Oh, turn the other cheek. Love that, Zinno. You're the best.
Yeah, if you're saying turn the other cheek by mooning you and showing you that cheek, yes, that's what's coming next.